At some point back in 2013, Star Citizen's Kickstarter dropped and it got a lot of people's attention. Enough so to raise millions. What grabbed enough gamers, like myself, to donate records amount of money, $6.2 million on the original Kickstarter campaign, now pushing over $240 million as of making this video. What got our attention? Well, to answer that, we gotta take a little trip back in time. Late 1990s and the early 2000s were the golden age of space sims and those general sci-fi space titles. Sure, Elite Dangerous dropped in '84, but it wouldn't be until the 90s when gamers got to sit down for some Wing Commander in 1990, Privateer in '93, hell, X-Wing in '93, TIE Fighter in '94, X-Wing vs. TIE Fighter in '97, Free Space and its sequels in '98 and beyond, X Beyond the Frontier, one of my favorite franchises, started out in '99, Starlancer in 2000, Eve in 2003, Freelancer in 2003, Jump to Lightspeed in '04, and a massive host of sequels and expansions for many of these titles. But after 2004, things went mostly dark. The great sci-fi gaming Space Sim Drought was upon us. Sure, we had one of my favorite titles, X3 Albion Prelude, released in 2008, and it was a buggy mess, but it was fun. But outside of that, we wouldn't see a revival until 2013, almost a decade later. This was some seriously dark times for fans of these amazing titles back in the 90s. We used to ponder and guess back in the day what these next big space games would be like in the future as newer and more powerful graphic cards dropped and processors. As every other genre kept getting its next iteration, its next version, its next major trendsetter and blockbuster, the space sim genre, and generally the simulation genre, died.
No, there's magnetic interference. Countermeasures applied. They are not working. Engines look good. Computers look good. Oh my god, there it is again. Do you see it? Right there. It doesn't look good. Can we get a fix on the problem? The what? Mission command. Systems here. Abort jump procedures. I repeat, abort jump procedures. Doesn't anybody hear me? Abort! Abort!
One of the last hopes for people looking for new bold mechanics looked at CCP. EVE Online, which had touted becoming the ultimate sci-fi simulation and EVE Fan Fest for years, boasting new technologies, creating player characters, planetary invasions, and a new first-person shooter mechanic that was going to be incorporated into the base game.
Unlike in some certain other games, you can actually just get everything flown to you directly. You don't have to walk half an hour to exactly find out that somebody steals your helicopter.
This is planetary flight.
This is finally!
Woo! Whoa!
Attack each other. They need to move it on the star map. If you want to attack planet A, you need to move your war barge into orbit and deploy from there.
Needless to say, they of course are working within the same space as Eve, and that planet that you were showing looked very familiar. Because it's the same planet we were watching yesterday for Eve.
It is one universe.
Ended up trashing every one of these concepts and announced that its FPS mechanics would be released as a separate game for only the PlayStation console, shunning its original fan base, the PC players. But it wasn't just space sims. Flight sims in general started to drop off completely.
This mission, we are going to practice fighting against surface-to-air missiles, or SAMs.
The Jane's titles that I really enjoyed back in the day died after the year 2000. And Microsoft Flight Simulator, the largest of the flight sims, stopped releasing new titles after 2006, with the next release literally being next year as of making this video, 2020. The years slowly ticked by. Sure, great games were released, but nothing in our once popular genre. Then, 2012 and 2013 arrived. It's like somebody let off a bomb of sci-fi games. Star Citizen, Elite Dangerous, X Rebirth. Elite Dangerous was going to be the largest world space ever based on real data that's been collected. The X series was slated to have a new beautiful engine and mechanics to go along with it. And Chris Roberts, the creator of Wing Commander and Freelancer, was raising money to build his dream title. That was those imaginings of sequels to the classics, a decade long past now. It spoke directly to fans. This was the opening line for the original Kickstarter pitch video. A game built for PC hardware. By this time, most AAA games were being developed for cross-platform release, meaning they rarely took advantage of the expensive and high-end gaming gear that PC gamers invested in. We had to look for mods to find new mechanics, or push our rigs beyond what was currently available. More than that though, it had a literal voice from the past, someone who had made those games that we so longed for. With the death of the few sci-fi MMOs that we had at the time, outside of Star Trek Online, which was a free-to-play title that got mixed reviews on release, there wasn't really much to play in this genre. Galaxy was just about dead and canceled by now. So, the original trailer had a voice from the past, a literal voice from the past, talking about building a full universe, and not having the tools until now, the funding of the player base he's speaking to, multiplayer to play with our friends, and to push the boundaries of what we expect. But more importantly, Chris Roberts focused on an element that hadn't really been talked about, immersion as a core pillar for design. It's still something that most developers don't really adhere to. Sure, they'll play at lip service based on the newest graphics for the Frostbite engine, but they won't put it into gameplay mechanics. Finally, he wraps up talking about no respect for the PC gaming audience, a completely discarded medium in the gaming sphere. Here we are, fans, coming off 10 years of not seeing any development of almost any kind in this genre, wondering what happened. All those great games, well-reviewed, critically acclaimed, and then nothing. And now here's one of the icons of that era, speaking directly to us. It was the perfect time for Star Citizen to drop its Kickstarter. Since 2013, we've had a swath of new space sims and sci-fi titles come out on PC. The one thing that I say Star Citizen did do, whether you like the game or hate it, was to speak with one loud voice, or at least give us the microphone to speak in one loud voice that, hey, the space sim community is here, and we've got wallets. So get developing, devs. Just look at all the titles that we've seen come out since. Star Citizen is an incredibly ambitious title, and I don't think I would want it any other way. My name's CaptainShack, and thank you for watching.